Hey guys, it's Monica at Academic Phoenix Plus, and welcome to the continuation of this gingerbread cookie animation. In the previous tutorials, we've modeled them, UV mapped them, textured them, rigged them, animated them, and even played a little bit with camera placement plus rendering. In this video tutorial, we're going to actually do the Playblast, which is a preview of the animation, and get it ready for rendering. If you are new to this channel, I post 3D tutorials in a weekly basis. Software includes Maya, ZBrush, and Substance Painter. So if that is your sort of thing, please consider subscribing. Otherwise, open up that software, bring out that creativity, and let's go ahead and get started in rendering this animation. All right, so this is what we had last time. We set up all of our cameras. I have shot 1 all the way through shot 4. And we are ready to start basically seeing how this looks like. How I set it up, it was scene 1, shot 1, 0 through 90. So if I middle mouse and drag this in, I can go to frame 0 and I can see how the animation works. Now, I want to do a preview. Before I render anything and spend all of the time rendering, I want to make sure that everything looks good in a preview. So what I'm going to do is Playblast this. So if you don't know what a Playblast is, it is basically a preview of the animation that you're seeing here. Now the trick though is that you want to make sure that you are in the camera that you want to see. You don't want to be in 4 views. You want to be in this view. It actually helps a little bit if you turn on occlusion, which makes it feel like the objects are on the ground. And you can also turn on motion blur, which will give it a fake motion blur. You'll see that more when the little gingerbread man starts moving. Also, if you find this a little bit distracting, you can turn this one on, which is basically the default material. It makes everything look like it's on a Lambert. I do recommend not to select anything because it will show up, so you might want to deselect out here in the outliner. And if you want to hide your cameras, you can Control H. So therefore, it's just a clean screen. Now I do have my resolution gate on, which is fine. Again, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger and also go to my channel box. So the larger the image, the better we're off. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and create our first Playblast. This is from camera 1, 0 through 90 frames. So I am going to type in 90 here, which will basically shorten the time frame from 0 to 90. You can see that the camera has popped up again, and the reason why is because the visibility is keyframe to on. So even if I hide them, Control H, you'll notice that the visibility is off, but because they're keyframed, they will turn back on. To go ahead and fix that, I'm going to select all my 4 cameras, and I'm going to right click on visibility, the word visibility, and just go to break connection right here. And now I can change this to a 0, which is basically off, and there we go. All right, let's right click, Playblast options. Again, deselect here. This little window pops up. We're going to have to use an AVI at this time. It's going to be a huge file, but I'm going to compress it later. There's a couple of compressions here that I'm going to say no to. Quality is at 100%. I'm going to go from the window. I am scaling it all the way to 1, which is basically 100%. Make sure that this says save to file, browse, and you'll notice that it places it into the movies folder, which is great. So this is going to be my same language, scene 1, shot 1, 0 through 99. I'm going to hit save, and then I'm going to hit Playblast. And you're going to see that it's actually going to do a Playblast. So it's going to go through the animation, and then this little animation pops up. It's a large file, so it's going to take a second. There it is. Doesn't look like much, but that actually is the real-time animation. Perfect. Let's do that again for scene 1, shot 2. I'm actually going to take this and copy this, Control C. So this one is from 0 to 56, so I'm going to change this to 56. Go 0 through 56, perfect. Right click, Playblast options, browse. This is what it's going to be called. Save, Playblast. Okay, there it goes. Great. Give it a second so that it loads. There it is. All right, might be a little fast. We'll see. Let's go to scene 3. Again, I'm going to double click, Control C for copy, because I'm going to paste it later. And this is from 91. So I'm going to change it here, 91 and 182. Right, so we have 91 through 182. So we are looking at the right camera. Bink, looks good. All right, let's go ahead and Playblast it. Browse, paste, save, Playblast. All right. Let it think for a second. I'm using the free version of Keyframe, by the way. You can download that for free. There it is. Cool. One last one. This is, again, middle mouse and drag onto the perspective window. This is between 192 and 240. So just to see what it looks like. There you go. It's funny. Right click, Playblast options. Oops, let me try that again. Right click, Playblast options. Let's go ahead and browse. Again, paste. Oops, wrong one. It's just easier for me to copy this. Browse, paste, save, Playblast. All right, let's see all of these together. I'm going to use Premiere, almighty Premiere. Let's go to new project. Depending on which one I have actually Premiere 2021. So I know there's updates, I think, at 2022 by now. But there's a different method. But in general, you're going to create a new project. And I personally like to place it in the same space as my other movie. So I'm going to go to Browse. And this is my Gingerbread cookie project, which I'm going to go to Movies. And then select that folder. And this is just going to be my Gingerbread cookie Playblast. Click OK. Give it a second to create the project. There we go. And now whoops, where'd it go? Here it is. So we know that if we go into Movies, you can see that this is my Premiere project, and these are my 4 Playblasts, which I'm going to grab and drag over here. Now, just to show you that these are ginormous, they're like 155, 251, 100, very large for very small files. So, Playblasts have a tendency to be very large. All right, let's grab these and drag them in. And you can see that it automatically kind of puts them in some sort of order, not the ones that we want, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and start dragging things around. So this is scene 1, this is scene 2. This is scene, that's the last one. 3 and then 4. Right, so then here we go. Let's watch it all together. All right. So for this one, I'm going to use a little bit of a dissolve. So I'm going to move this, and up here in effects, I'm going to call this dissolve. And you're going to see that we have a cross dissolve. I'm going to drag this here. So what it's going to do is that it's going to fade away. I'm hitting spacebar to play. All right. And then I want this here though. So let's watch a cross dissolve. There you go. So I do want maybe to hold this a little longer. You can see that it just seems really fast. So those are the type of details that I need to kind of watch. So if I cross dissolve this, the timing's a little fast and we don't really get to hold. So going back into I'm going to go back to my camera. So I'm going to need more frames than just 50. So again, 0. I'm going to give myself like 100 frames, I guess. We'll see. And I want it to hold. So let's go all the way to just 90 like the other one. So we'll do 90. There we go. I'm going to cut this down to 90. And once again, we're going to Playblast. So right click, Playblast options. Double click on this camera. Browse. Now I'm going to save right on top of it. I think I saved on top. I did not save on top of it. So whatever camera I Playblasted. Oh, it's because of the 90. So let me go ahead and delete this one. And when I do, you're going to see that this is what happens when Premiere can't find the file. So I'm going to just go ahead, and it also gives me this like, hey, it's gone. So I'm going to close that and just delete it. And also you can see there's a question mark. Just delete that too. And just going to go ahead and grab this one and drag it in. Hit spacebar. So right now I'm working on my timing to make sure it looks good. All right, then he's gonna get up. It's a little bit of a pink. You see, so that's called the jump cut. So the way to prevent that, you could use dissolve again. Maybe make it a little shorter. Or the best thing could be for me to fix the camera. So the trick is that if the character's here, then this guy should be around in the same space. So I could either fix this one and move it to the right. Whoop, more like this. So maybe, oh, you saw the camera blur? Whoop, just move this here. Hit S. Oh, you can see that the camera is really having a hard time. Okay, S. So it's gonna go like this. I actually feel like I should look at him a little bit more like so. Let me focus on him and then move him more to the right. Make sure you have the camera selected. There you go. Let's go ahead and Playblast this again. This is number 2. Say yes to replace and Playblast. It's a little fast. That's okay. Now, lucky for us, it should automatically pick it up. We'll see. You can see that it automatically picked it up. Let's see if the transition's better. So the transition's a little better because our eye is actually here, and then when he moves, we see him. And then the rest. So this is known as an action cut, when you actually have an action and then the action proceeds on the next cut, so we kind of see how it works. So it's an easier transition. I'm still not convinced by this camera move. This one's fine. This one's a little fast. All right, let me tweak it a little bit more. Move this back instead. Hit S. So it's just going to be like that. So this is a simple one. I wanted to do something a little bit more dramatic, but oh well. Right click, Playblast options. Once again, it's the same shot, so it doesn't matter. Playblast, okay. Which means it's going to overwrite it. And again, because it's the same name and everything, then we don't have to worry about it because in Premiere, it will automatically update. So that's a little bit easier to see. Whee! Cool. All right, so let's save this file. Save. It's basically ready. And we basically use this method so that we can make sure that everything's looking good, so that when we start rendering it, we just have to replace these playblasts and we can move on. Now remember that this is here. This is the actual footage. This is all going to be cut. So the reality is that if you want a much more accurate look, you need to scale it higher. So let's make sure that this actually fits our scene. So it's around 130 scale. So just keep that in mind, that there is a little bit of a change when it comes to the scale. So it's going to look more like this. I'm just changing all the scale to 130. Probably slightly bigger, but that should give us enough of information to be able to get the idea. All right, that is how you can get a basic start on our animation. So we got our cameras, we got our Playblast. He's getting cut off right there. I'm not sure that's a good idea, especially since we have all the space. So I might actually have to go into camera here. This is between 192 and 240. Whoops. So I might actually need to consider moving this camera up So let's move this camera up a little bit. There you go. So that's a little bit better. All right, let's try that. Let's Playblast options. Again, we're going to browse. Grab this one. Playblast, okay. It's so fast. I'm sure you guys have stronger machines, so go way faster. All right, so let's see what that looks like. Oh, there's a little jar there. Oh, what is that? Okay, I got to double check to see what that is. So cute. Go back. Shouldn't be cut off that much. Let me bring it in. Oh, it still has a jarring. Still has a big jump there. So the Playblast almost looks like it didn't get saved. Let me check. Let's see, 192 to 240. Let me move a little bit. Okay, so there is a little bit of an animation here. I'm going to right click and delete those keyframes, so that should get rid of that. And let's see, let's double check 192 to 240. And maybe even, actually, let me do 300, just so I have a little bit of extra space at the end. So Playblast options. Let's see, double check this one. Replace it. All right, let's hope there's no jarring anymore. Okay. You can see that it no longer has the little ending. It's because I need to extend this. Ooh, mine's way too much time. But now I get the idea of whee, and then I can hold it for a little bit and probably end it around here. All right, 13-second animation. Actually, let's export this just so that we have a movie. So file, export media. You guys are welcome to export it here in Premiere, but I like to use Adobe because it's encoder. So I'm going to go to Q, which will open it up in Adobe Encoder. So did I increase this to 130? I did not. Let me change this to 130. There's encoder. I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. Yes. All right. File, export media. Q. Wait for it to load. I'm going to do a medium because I don't really need it to be that high quality. Again, it's just a preview. I'm going to place it here. It's going to be an MP4, and this is going to be my Gingerbread Playblast. Go ahead and render it out. And again, the purpose is so that we can see, or the director can see, how the movie's going to look like before it gets fully rendered. So this is very fast, very quick, great preview for animation, great preview for everything. And then once it's done, then people can just go ahead and start rendering. The lighters can come in and start rendering. So here it is. Let's take a look at our amazing work. Looking left, looking right, up, and skedaddle. All right. Perfect. Looks good. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys like that video. We're getting there. The next video tutorial, we are going to actually render it out. So that means that we're going to set it up for render, and we're going to have to tweak our lighting depending on each scene, and then get it ready for rendering. So it's a very exciting time. Almost done. So thank you again for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two. If you did, please like and subscribe. Or if you actually enjoyed this video series, please like and subscribe too. That is your message to me, letting me know that you like this content and that you want to see more. Also, feel free to share my videos. That would be amazing. That helps me out a little bit as well and helps other artists just like you to learn how to animate, model, texture, UV map, and render a whole completed animated scene. Take a look at academicphoenixplus.com. There you can find free resources such as 3D models, ebooks, and so much more. So take a look at academicphoenixplus.com. There you can also find some e-courses if you want to have a deep dive into modeling, UV mapping, texturing, and lighting. Then please consider purchasing an e-course or two. Again, thank you so much for watching. Keep creating, and I will see you next time when we render this animation.